Hello, everyone. How are you? Here to let you know what happened on Lone Frozen, episode 6. I apologize, folks. The episode 5. I didn't do a recap of the show because I couldn't watch it for some weird reason. When me and my father decided to watch it on Thursday night and Saturday night, the 2 nights we get it, it wasn't on TV. Apparently, the episode happened, but apparently, I don't know. There's something on TV going on. They decided to take a loan off for a week on our TV station. We were not happy campers. So I apologize for not having episode 5 up last week on the recap, but all 4 people were still on the show. Show the journey up to day 32. Michelle, she's excited. She's past the 21-day mark now from her previous last season attempt there, where she only lasted 21 days. She's excited. She passed 21 days. So now her mindset is, I'm going to win the challenge now. The 50-day plus challenge for $500,000. I'm going to do it. That's her mindset now. She checked her snare. She caught a nice sized rabbit, folks. She took that back up to camp. Skinned it. Cooked it right up. And she just enjoyed the meal. And she watched the scenery as she was doing it. Then she decided one day to pass the time by making a bowl out of twigs and that. But she started getting homesick and that, so she stopped doing that. And decided to go do something else, take her mind off of it. And that's where all that about her journey. Ranoni. She finished the rest of the rabbit she had caught, I guess, last week. She saved the rabbit guts. Because there's a fox going by her shelter, around her shelter. She could see the tracks in the snow and that. So she set a trap, and she used the rabbit guts as bait. A few hours later, she heard it in the trap. She went to get it, but it was like dark out. So she was trying to find her headlamp, but she couldn't find it. It was on her hat the entire time. She got frustrated about that because it was further up in her hat than she thought it would be, because she was, like looking for it here, but it was way up here. So the time it took her to finally find it, this fox had gotten away, so she got depressed, upset about that. But she said, I'll try it again. She called her shelter Storm Fortress. That's what she's called it. And she decided the fire pit she has inside of her shelter, she don't want to risk all the smoke constantly being in her shelter. So she dug a tunnel out to the outside of her shelter, and she grabbed rocks from the lake and made trips back and forth a few times. And she made kind of like a stone chimney tunnel thing. So like the smoke from the fire would go right outside of her shelter, which she likes. And she used this type of rock, which apparently makes the fire burn faster and longer, and it reduces the amount of smoke in that, which is pretty neat. That's the rock she was grabbing at the lake she was going to use. And it showed Callie. She loves the frost. There was a frost that happened overnight. She just loved how like the waves and the water would crash on the rocks, and you hear the frost and that on the ice and that snap and crackle. The sound it made on her every footstep she made, she just loved it. She loved how it looked like the lake looked like glitter diamonds for the frost. She made a fishnet. She made it drum style. This is pretty neat how she did. She used paracord, cut it into small strips, fasten it to some branches she had that she bent around into a circle shape, and fasten up there. And then she used some grouse remains she had from a grouse she had killed, and the guts and that, and some skin she had from the animal, and wrapped that in some paracord as well, and kind of like a plastic bag she found, and she used that as the bait for the fish. But she also took some wooden branches and that, and she just sharpened them to the point they looked like tips of a wooden spear. She fastened that around the trap, so any fish that goes in will get stuck on it and won't get out. She threw that in the lake. She waited. She checked every day, 4 days straight, no luck. Again, she got discouraged, but she said, you know what, I'll just keep trying it. Hopefully I'll get something. But on day 30, she suddenly felt ill. Power puking nonstop. She was puking over a rock by the lake. She was puking on the grass. And she thinks it's because her stomach, because she went to eat some clams. And after a bit, she started getting sick because she thinks all she's been eating is clams and mussels made lately. and majority of her food source has been that her stomach can't tolerate it no more. So she had the thing on her hands to call, to tap out, but it ended with her journey not knowing if she tapped out or not. But I think she did, and I'll tell you why here in a couple minutes. The last person was Almost. He realized he really needs to upgrade his shelter, because really his shelter is just a tarp over some branches and pieces of wood there. There's no like twigs or nothing to keep the cold coming in. So he says, I really got to work on my shelter now because it's getting colder out and stuff like that. But he decided to suddenly tap out. On day 32, he just tapped. No explanation why. Even he said on camera, which was a little bit harsh what he said. He said, put yourself in my shoes, folks. You know why I tapped out. And don't judge me for why I decided just to leave. Just the way he said it was like harsh and cruel. Me and my dad fought, and some other people that watched it too online said that as well. But there's no explanation why he tapped out. Or it was because of homesickness. Because he kept talking, he was missing his daughter, but he said he was going to win the $500,000 to help his daughter out and stuff. So there was no explanation why he tapped out, and he never gave one. So back to Callie. Next week's episode will only show the journeys of Michelle and Ranoni. So is Callie tapped out, and they're just showing that to make it look like she tapped, but she's sticking it out with the sickness episode. And on and out, for the first time ever in Alone history, a woman is going to win the show. Because there's only 3 people left, and they're all with him. Almost left. So, is it going to be Michelle? Is it going to be Callie? That's who I'm rooting for. So, Callie, stick in there. You can do this. And always, it's going to be Ranoni. Let me know below which one of the 3 winners you think is going to make history on Alone to win it. Who do you think is going to go home next? And all that. Stay safe, everybody. Too sweet. Bye.